Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spell Crunch, and today we'll be catching up on this past month's Dark Knight's death metal tie-ins, as well as the primary, as well as the most recent issue of the primary series. So, as there is actually a we now have a very clear story progression order. We'll actually be kicking things off with Justice League number 56, which is, I believe, part 4 of the story Doom Metal. Where we left off, Nightwing, Hawk Girl, Detective Chimp, as well had made their way from Washington D.C. towards Brimstone Bay. Along the way, picking up, encountering Starfire, Cyborg, and Lex Luthor. Their mission in Brimstone Bay being to free the Legion of Doom from who are imprisoned in Perpetua's throne, and take down. But they had to worry about the Omega Titan, as well as Mindhunter, who is basically a Dark Knight combination of Batman and Martian Manhunter. So Doom Metal begins with our heroes having kind of fallen to the Omega Titan. Hawk Girl is talking with talking with Mindhunter telepathically. He's trying to get it. He's trying to enter their Martian Manhunter's telepathic link to the Justice League. But yeah, she. But, anyways, so, thanks in part to Comet the Horse's invisibility, Leaguers are able to take down Mindhunter, and then they get second. And allow for the release of the members of the Legion of Doom. Briefly make with the brief appearance that maybe Detective Chimp sacrificed himself to actually bring this about. However, that is of course false. Right as our next title for the week, Justice League number 57, begins. Justice League 57 is the conclusion of Doom Metal. It actually begins revisiting a flashback of Dick Grayson's from when he first saw the League in person, having basically stood away under. Excuse me. Under the Batmobile one time. We then get another flashback to when plans were made as to who would do what, basically. But upon releasing the Legion of Doom, it's not like they were saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, I know we're usually at each other's throats, but thanks, man. That was pretty solid of you." No, they actually go out try to kill him right off the bat. And, well, Dick Grayson being, Dick Grayson, he's able to, avoid an assault from Grodd, an energy attack from Sinestro, as well as a close attack from Cheetah. However, the rest of the league is brought together and they basically say, hey, look, here's what the score is, and then finally Lex says, hey, I can rescue you, but Lex betrayed the Legion of Doom to Perpetua, because of course he did, and then of course Perpetua betrayed Lex to make Batman Who Laughs her right hand man. So we had a fight between the Legion of Doom and the Justice League. Like I said, Detective Chip is revealed to still be alive, and the two teams in the League and the Legion work together to take down the Omega Titan. And then Lex boom tubes himself and the Legion out. And then the Legion meets up with the Trinity, who are having to face Castle Bat, and that is where the issue ends. Next up, basically only really next in the order chronology, because we do get one of the members of the Legion popping up is Dark Knight's Death Metal, Infinite Hour Exxxtreme, which is quite possibly one of the funnest tie-ins to the story. And yes, as you can tell from the cover, it does have its own logo. So we begin at a bar you wouldn't want to be in, a part of the galaxy you wouldn't want to be in 6 months ago. Turns out Lobo had messed everybody up, ripped off the bartender's arms, and beat people to death with them. And then he was promptly attacked by the Batman Who Frags. No, really. Yes, it's a Dark Knight's combination of Batman and Lobo. So Lobo and the Batman Who Frags duke it out. We learned the Batman Who Frags' origin. He shot himself up with Zarnian DNA. And he gets stabbed with his bat hook, and Lobo gets pulled through a teleportation portal, where he meets with Lex Luthor. This is when Lex hired him, as shown earlier in Death Metal. Basically, track down Death Metal. Back with the Batman Who Frags, he removes his bat hook, and it's of course revealed that the Batman man he doesn't send anybody to Arkham. He sends them to hell, and so he hops on his bike and heads out after the main man, tracking him down to Black Hawk Island. However, the Batman Who Frags isn't the only Dark Knight on the island, as Lobo has to deal now with Black Monday. Also now, at this point, we're at now as opposed to 6 months ago. But it takes some doing, but Lobo defeats Black Monday, a combination of Batman and Solomon Grundy. Runs into Hawkman, who gives him the death metal, and they're then promptly attacked by seemingly the Batman Who Frags. But it turns out they end up in Gem World. And Lobo takes a look at death metal and discovers that with it he can kind of create his own little universe. So he kind of redesigns redesigns the origins of the Trinity, as well as other heroes. So we've got Superman by Lobo and Lobo, Batman by Lobo, Wonder Woman by Lobo. Yeah, he's often dead as having fun when Brainiac shows up. All right, and then while Brainiac's trying to get him to actually do the right thing with death metal, he's attacked once again by the Batman Who Frags, and so he decides to send Batman Who Frags to the best possible place to send him, Lobo Land. And so, yeah, he decides he'll do the right thing with the death metal. Meanwhile, the Batman Who Frags, like I said, ended up in Lobo Land. Lobo Land being where all the Loboized versions of the DC heroes reside. And Batman Who Frags is promptly attacked by the Lobo League of America. And that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to our next entry. This one was kind of hard to place in the order, so I kind of just went with, okay, one-shots, Justice League one-shots, then the actual miniseries. But we got Dark Knight's Death Metal, the Multiverse That Laughs. Or Who Laughs. This is basically just a collection of short stories. The ideas are being told by the Robin King to his goblins, and while he's telling the tale, Perpetua and the Darkest Knight are duking it out over the dominion over the universe. But he comes up with some possibilities, like, how about a version of Superman where he passed through some cosmic radiation on the way to Earth, and that when he arrived on Earth, he was left with nothing but a powerful hunger that could only be satisfied with burning human flesh. Or what if Barry Allen tried to give everyone access to the Speed Force? So, however, everyone turns into vicious predatory speed monsters. Societies build and collapse within seconds. A take on Martian Manhunter that's a bit similar to Alien. Wonder Woman opting to bring war to the gods rather than peace to men. John Stewart opting to join the Sinestro Corps as I'm not sure if he's joining the Sinestro Corps or letting Parallax take him over, but to basically make sure he never screws up again. A more fish than man version of Aquaman. An armored Lois who realized that the only way for humanity to truly be safe from the heroes is for the heroes to be dead. And various others. So we begin with a story. The first story he tells is Feeding the Beast, featuring Zaz. On one of the various Earths in the Dark Multiverse, Victor Zaz is being taken to Arkham. And upon arrival, things seem actually rather pleasant there. But he knows about the transformations that people go through, and he wants to go through the transformation himself. It's all he wants is to go through the transformation. But the warden wants him to work for, doesn't, at least not right just yet. And then one day he decides to make Kite Man. The warden decides that Kite Man will be transformed. And it's explained that why Zaz won't be transformed. Zaz murdered 117 people, mindlessly, artlessly, and compulsively. The dark metal craves violence, but it also craves craft. They have more than enough killers. The surface of the earth is crawling with and cleansed by them. They have death, darkness, and sorrow, but now they want music, poetry, and whimsy. and so yeah, Zaz wouldn't really like it, and so having been shot by the warden, he is basically fed to Kite Man. We get two new arrivals who are then also fed to the transformed criminals as well, and who all in addition to Kite Man, include Calendar Man and some others I can't actually place off the top of my head. Next up, we get the super threats, which focuses on Crypto. Basically, Crypto arrives on Earth. Beppo tells them, explains what's happened. A virus spread. It infected the human heroes, and it also infected most of the animal heroes, except for Beppo. Beppo bravely, while trying to fight off while trying to contain everything. It took him a while, but he managed to potentially create a cure. He tested it on the animal heroes, but not before they had already made one hell of an escape and managed to do a hell of a amount of damage. To the point where all that's left are the super pets. Well, and as well as Ace the Bat Hound. However, and this, in fact, among those dead were Crypto's wife and pups. However, the cure is only a temporary fix, it turns out, as the infected super pets once again turn back and at the end of the story attack Beppo and Crypto. Next up, we've got, what was this one called? Because Hard Traveled. Beginning set in new OO Subsector 070, formerly known as Star City. Two young citizens of the subsector are fleeing from the something referred to that they call the Steel Guardians, when they run into none other than Green Arrow, Star City's former protector. The Steel Guardians are revealed to be hovering robot heads based on the heads of the Guardians of Oa. Green Arrow takes them out with a pair of well-placed arrows, gets the two youngsters on their way to a safe house. However, he runs into trouble in the form of his old friend, Green Lantern. The two of them argue, and Ollie tries to get Hal to take the ring off. So the reason why Ollie's so hardcore is because, he's always wearing the ring and he's always whispering to him all day and all night, twisting Hal up inside. And so the issue ends with Ollie drawing his last trick arrow, Yellow Cedar, and firing it right at Hal at point blank range as Hal begins to fire his ring at Ollie. That's where the story ends. And I think this is the final story. The final story is the Fear Index. We begin in Metropolis. A young man with a mask is mugged outside. It's explained that the index is at 8 tonight. It is expected to drop below 7 until next week. Apparently, Metropolis is the grips. At least Metropolis, not the world, has been covered by Jonathan Crane's fear toxin for the last 2 years. With Steele, our narrator, having lost track of the exact number of days, and admitting that his daughter Natasha has been lost to him. But the young man is mugged, and then his mask is removed, and the fear toxin hits him, and he sees things such as a Nightfall Batman, Bane, I think Saint Dumas, when Steele's hammer arrives and scatters the muggers and So Steel saves the young man and injects him with an antitoxin. Young man is later at the Ironworks. The young man comes to and is revealed to be Jean-Paul Valley. He introduces himself to. He and Steel introduce one another, and Valley looks at Steel's helmet and realizes that the face piece is actually cracked, and it shouldn't work, but somehow it does. And Steel explains that there's this theory that some of us, that the things that happen to some of us and our ancestors have been, such as the brutality, humiliation, oppression, and constant attacks on humanity, because of that, someone gets calloused inside of them, so they can function without tearing it all down. And he says, the area there is filled with fear now, but for him it's just Tuesday. And so Jean Paul asks if John can teach him how to be able to get past the fear. And John explains that he can teach him how to feel the fear, that you'll lose everything that matters at any moment through no fault of your own. He can teach you how to feel that and still move forward. Just has to believe that there's a day coming when you won't need it, and know how to fight long enough to reach it. And he says, however, he says at the end that until that point when Jean Paul's got that mastered, the index is stuck at 8, and there's always more work to do, and that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to Dark Knight's Death Metal, number 5. Before we get started on the actual issue itself, I'll go ahead and show this off as well. It's the variant, the Arc Germ variant done of the Dark Knight Cull. So, Legion of Doom has been released from Perpetua's throne. Perpetua's throne has been destroyed, in fact. And the Blackest Night is facing off against... actually the issue begins with the Robin King basically continuing his torturing of the Trinity, when the Blackest Night basically, says, okay, come on, Robin King. Time to leave them alone. You can kill them soon enough. I'll leave them to the tender mercy of Castle Bat while I go kill a god. So Castle Bat attacks our heroes. And as it's the consciousness of Batman infused with Gotham, bit of every material ever produced in Kane County. And so, red sun particles for Gotham's astrophysics lab, circa 1901. But as Castle Bat seems to be getting the drop on the Trinity, Legion of Doom arrives and takes it down, and then using some of Brainiac's city bottle technology, swaps out Castle Black with, or the Gotham of Castle Black that makes it Castle Black with the Gotham that's in a snow globe, which Harley then promptly drops on the ground and stomps on. In the multiverse, the Darkest Night attacks Perpetua, and the heroes watch as the battle begins. The death metal is brought to them by Lobo. Luthor explains it in his journal. He he's discovered that throughout time, at special moments, brave men and women have invented machines to see the truth, to peer into the heart of reality, however terrifying. And he has designed one such machine. The metal X shards are from the Forge of Worlds, and they can guide the heroes there to make the machine. Explain that since they can't redirect, they're not going to redirect crisis energy, and it's opposite. Crisis energy is born of their fear, their anger, their desire to be big. It advises to change history to make the present more important. Anti-crisis energy is connected. It unites people through mercy and history, reminding us we are small but part of one epic story. And but one would say she used anti-crisis energy against Perpetua the last, and it didn't work. Adding that crisis energy is more powerful by far. However, she didn't use anti-crisis energy. Explained that, one of her was being taunted by Perpetua. Told that if she won using anti-crisis energy, everything would be brought to bear. All history would matter. Time would unknot. Many would be dead. And so she then, certain things, when she realized certain things, she turns to Clark and Bruce and asks them to tell her the truth. Bruce begins by explaining that he's been dead. He's been dead the whole time. Died at the first battle of Perpetua when the Batman invaded. It's how he's been using the Black Lantern ring, and he's sorry. Clark explained that there's no changing him back, and he can feel it. However, they're ready to fight with her one last time, as long as she'll have them. And then she turns to Lobo and, asks about his regenerative capabilities, and he pierces his thumb with one of his teeth. And adds, there's plenty of the main man to go around. Superman then goes to Tartarus, formerly the Themyscira, releases the imprisoned villains, and Gigantus kind of says, "Let me guess, you want us bad guys to save the Earth?" And he says, "No, actually, I want you to destroy it." Wonder Woman leads an army of Lobos into the Brock of Eternity, while Superman, Bizarro, Superman Prime, Cyborg Superman, handful of Lanterns, Black Adam, Swamp Thing, Abigail Arcane destroy the Earth. Mainly to prevent Batman Who Laughs, or the Darkest Night, from creating more dark Earths to recruit from. He's already recruited quite a few. And so all the heroes and villains arrive. However, there were quite a few Dark Earths already made at this point. And so now the gathered heroes and villains fight for a better tomorrow. And that is where the issue ends. That's to be it for this month's installment of Catching Up on Death Metal. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.